It's May 9th. Doing a quick little garden update. Not a whole lot is going good this year. Have had so much rain. Pretty much March, April. Just too much rain. Got a lot of problems with the plants. Lots of disease, stuff not wanting to grow. But so far, we're just kind of going along. Here's the bell peppers. I don't know if you can see it on here, but they have some kind of sickness I'm hoping they're going to bounce back from. Not exactly sure what it is. Maybe it's some kind of viral thing that they won't bounce back from, but just going to see what happens. Then we have the, as usual, good sweet banana peppers. Already loaded with sweet banana peppers throughout here. Got to get out here and pick them. Getting about ready to pick. They're doing all right. This year I tried something different. I'm not sure if I said this in my last video back in March. When the plants were growing in the pots, I snipped them, the tops of them off, so they grow a little bit thicker base down there. And so far, it's doing pretty good. Took them a while to get taller, but now I have more than one main shoot coming out of the bottom down there, which should yield a little bit better. After the sweet banana peppers, I have the jalapenos. We have some jalapenos going here. The jalapenos don't look quite as affected as the other plants. So we got flowers all over the place. Here, doing pretty good. We got a little bit of jalapenos down here at the bottom. See if you can see them down there. Looking pretty good. And as you can see throughout the garden, again, I've put the hay. This year I used 3 bales of hay, which did the entire garden. So I got mulched the garden for $20 this year. You don't have to have the best hay. It don't have to be horse quality hay. So you can just have some older hay that maybe they don't want to sell to, or people won't buy because it's older. You can get it for cheaper. Maybe you can get it even for free, depending. All right, after the jalapeno, I have the Hungarian hot wax. I believe I have a pepper on here somewhere, way back in the back. It's real small. Can't really see it. And it's kind of doing all right. And we have the walla pepper, something like that. And then I got a few little curly little things going on here. I'm guessing that's what these look like. I'm guessing these are hot peppers as well. We'll see. Then I have the ghost pepper, which I don't know what happened to it. It's real small. It's having a hard time getting up there. I think we're finally starting to grow. It's been in the upper 80s, mid to upper 80s here and there. If it ain't raining. But all next week we're expecting rain again. So more mess of rain. Let's see if I can see that Hungarian hot wax pepper from this side. One right here. Can barely see it. And then one right there. So after the peppers, I have the potatoes. They are about ready to be dug up. So maybe I'll be making another harvest video of the potatoes. We'll see what I get. Basically, I did the same as last year, except this is all, I believe it was red Lesota, red potatoes. The back and forth row here, one here, here, going back and forth all the way down. So it was about 5 or 6 pounds of red potatoes in here. So we'll see if we can get at least 60 pounds of a harvest. As with almost everything else in the garden, these potatoes I think were hit with blight. That's what I'm guessing some of this damage is here. Why some of it's dying a little early. Been trying to use some fungicide out here to keep it under control. It seemed to help a little bit, but it's too difficult when there's been so much rain and not a whole lot of sun either. It's kind of just been overcast. You get a few days here and there with some sun and back into the clouds and rain for another week. And as you can see, I have the soaker hoses down here. I have not turned on the water a single time this year. Haven't even had a need to water. This dirt actually down here has not been dry the entire season, which is quite unusual here lately, but I think that's why my stuff is just not doing so well. It's just been too wet all the time. But I'll probably be picking these in the next couple of weeks. I wanted to pick them next weekend, but I think it's going to be raining all week next week, and it might be just too wet to pick them. So maybe in a couple of weeks I'll get out here and I'll pick these potatoes. Hopefully we get a good harvest out of them. It's one of our favorites of the garden. And then after the potatoes, I planted the tomatoes. Not doing nearly as good as last year. I had a lot of stuff going on. I even still have some leaves in here not doing so good. But I went in here and pruned off all the bad stuff. I've been quite busy with other things this year. I never got a chance to come out here and take care of these plants as I normally would. And I finally came out here, I think it was last weekend, and picked all the stuff off the bottom to get it off the ground. And that's when we put all the hay out here. But I do have some tomatoes out here. Nothing like last year. So hopefully I can get something. I mean, even all these, I don't know if you can see this. I mean, back up a little bit maybe. It's just, the fruit's not even setting. It's been so moist out here, and now I got, I'm guessing, blight or something on these as well. So, and also I have a few runts down here at the end. This one here is not really a runt, but it was nearly killed off when the plants were so leggy when I planted them. They couldn't hold themselves up, I guess, and then they started falling down and wrapping around the bottom of the cage. And it's just not a real good plant this year. It's best to not have super tall plants when you plant them, I guess. I usually like a little bit smaller plant. And then here's the, well, actually you can see some more tomatoes down in there. Now here's the two runts. I get these every so often. I didn't get one last year, but the year before I got several. But this is as big as these will get. I mean, we're talking way short. But it's unfortunate. I bought some a different brand of Roma and Pace tomatoes for maybe this fall. I'll plant something else. But this was a new batch of the Ferry Morris, I think, Roma tomatoes. And I think I'm done trying those. They just, when you get a plant like this, and you don't get a whole lot off of these. And you see a nice little bit of tomatoes here. They don't even, they're green and they don't look all that well. Look kind of sickly. Get so many also the tomatoes here that just aren't even setting anything. So I just think it's just not a complete failure, but more or less just kind of a garbage crop this year for tomatoes. And then after I had tomatoes, I have the usual problematic beans. This year I just grew green beans and butter beans. This is all green beans that I got to grow. I picked, I mean, I thought these things were going to die. were just completely yellow on the top. I picked off all the yellow. It had some new growth coming back, so it's come back and it looks halfway decent. Still have lots of this going on. I don't know what it is. I think it's, again, stuff from all the moisture, and I always just have struggles with beans, especially when it's wet and humid. I've replanted some here and there in these gaps. I try to do a dual row like I normally do, just back and forth all the way down. That's these are jade green beans from where did I get those from? I can't remember exactly where I got them from. And then over here on the trellis, I did the entire row of pole butter beans. I've had to replant them completely. Pretty windy today, so I don't know if you're hearing all that wind noise. These looked really bad, so I just went ahead and picked them out and replanted them. Wasn't no point in trying to salvage them, but it is too late to be planting them, so I don't know if they're going to make anything before it gets too hot around here. They say to plant pole beans here mid-April, no later than mid-April, and I replanted them beginning of May, so we'll see. And they're popping up again. I've just had horrible germination with all this wetness, and some most of the times just rot in the ground. And this little section over here, it was really bad off, so I pulled up all the green beans here, replanted them again, and it just looks like we're not going to have very much germination here. It's just kind of pointless to try this year, it seems like. Maybe I'll just do this all over again in the fall. Maybe it'll be a little drier. It looks like I do have some maybe beans starting, so maybe I'll get something. But I know I have a bunch of bugs on these things. I don't know if you can see them, but these things were hit pretty hard, I think, with flea beetles early on. Beans was so wet, couldn't really control anything. But now there's just love bugs everywhere. I don't know if love bugs are bad for the garden, but they're just kind of hanging out. Looks like they're dying on the plants here. After the beans, I got melons. This year I have Sarah's Choice cantaloupes and Crimson Sweet watermelon. This year I tried to just plant seed directly into the ground. I don't think I'll do that this year. I'm going to go back to doing it in a pot. It's taken them a long time just to get to here, to this point. And normally by this time of year, they're spread out kind of all over the place. So quite a bit behind here. The cantaloupe's looking definitely better than the watermelon. When I planted about 4 seeds in there, then I just extended it to the one plant. Got 3 cantaloupe, 3 watermelon. The watermelon here, pretty small. I don't know, hopefully this one will bounce back here and start growing good so we get some watermelon. Then the next disappointment will be the yellow onions. These are probably the biggest ones, and it's not big at all. Slightly bigger than a golf ball, maybe. That's the best. You got some that might be about that size here and there. Just too much wetness, I guess, and they didn't look all that good when I planted them. Guess they're a little bit older plants or transplants. Never really kind of greened up nicely, and it was just so soggy. Last year it was covered in water, but it was only for a short time, and then it dried out. This year hasn't been covered in water. It's just been soggy for so long that they just never really did. Maybe got some root rot or something. But that's my pitiful yellow onions. I didn't have any red onions, so just a couple of batches of it's 3 little rows in there. Down here, I picked a whole bunch down here. They were just smaller than a golf ball. And then after the onions, we have the planted Silver Queen corn this year. This year I tried to plant a little bit differently. I did an alternating row, approximately 8 to 10 inches apart. So hopefully we still have good results with this. This is actually probably the better crop in the garden this year. Did have a lot of troubles getting these to even germinate, and finally got a nice stand of corn here, so hopefully we get some good corn out of this. I do have some tassels starting to poke their selves out of the shoots here. I don't know if you can see that, but coming along. I've healed these up real good. Then you come out here and pick some suckers out of here again. But overall, corn's looking real good. I haven't done a whole lot of fertilizing this year because all I really have is some liquid or water soluble fertilizer, which I don't need any more water out here, so I don't even think I can use it. But so far so bad. We'll get through this season. Hopefully we get something, and try again in the fall if I have time. But I also have something else I want to show you. I had some extra peppers and tomato plants, so I went ahead and put some in a pot, where I put 1 pepper, sweet banana pepper, 1 tomato in a pot. And I was thinking for a while that they might be the only good thing I got out of the garden, but even that tomato is showing problems. Let's go over there and check it out real quick. So here is the Roma tomato in a pot. I basically got a bag of Miracle-Gro potting mix and planted this in there. This thing was looking really nice. Not any problems with it, and then all of a sudden, probably a week or so ago, it started getting the same thing the ones out in the garden got, which I was thinking it was the outside, garden out there's problem, but seemed to have been affecting this fairly bad as well. I mean, this plant was growing so much better than the stuff in the garden too. I mean, this is one of the bigger tomato cages you can buy at the at big box stores, and it's already well above it. So, and I have quite a bit of tomatoes in there, but I need to come out here and prune off all this ugly leaves, but unfortunately it seems like it's on almost every single bit of it, so I don't know if there's going to be anything left of this plant if I prune everything off. I mean, there's flowers still all over this thing. Excuse the wind, it's pretty windy. I don't know, it's just not a good year, I guess, and just too much moisture, too much humidity, too much rain, and just not liking it. And then here's the banana pepper that I have in a pot. And this one, it's a little bit behind the ones in the garden. Only got little bitty peppers on it so far. I thought this one was going to be better than the ones in the garden, but it kind of slowed down. And it also got the same disease looking viral, looks like curly top virus, but I don't know for sure. It could be the few days that we did get sun. It could be a little sunburn, so to speak, because I'm not used to it, because it goes a week with no sun at all, and then the sun comes out for a few days, and maybe that's just burning the leaves a bit. So hopefully we get something out of these too. That should be all I got for March. Didn't make an update in April. Maybe I have some pictures. I don't know if I even took any pictures or anything to see, because it was just a mess in April. Pretty much soggy. But hope y'all's gardens are doing well. Mine's not doing so well. Until next time, thanks for watching.